America, did you know that your federal tax dollars is going to fund up to 30% of the state of California's state budget? Yes, that is true. It is Sunday, July 6th here on Capitol Hill, where I'm going to break down part 3 of the big beautiful bill for every American so that you understand exactly what this bill means for you, and you can also see where the Democrats and legacy media are lying. These are not opinions. This is 100% facts based on the actual text of the bill. And I must say first, I'm very excited that we have my Substack up and running finally. If you want more proof, if you want the audits, if you want more dialogue, off here, head to the link in my bio, subscribe to my Substack, and we can talk much more. But let's begin with, if any American tells you they are being removed from Medicaid because of the big beautiful bill, they are lying to you. The big beautiful bill does not remove any American from Medicaid, nor does it reduce funding going to the states. The big beautiful bill has in no way changed the income guidelines for Medicaid eligibility. The same income rules still apply. What has changed is Section 2103 of the big beautiful bill, in which that is what is defined as the able-bodied adult mandate. We discussed that in the last video, and it is simply just a mandate that requires individuals who are able-bodied, which is a very small group of individuals who are receiving Medicaid, to either work, go to school, or volunteer their time up to 20 hours a week in the community. That is the only change to Medicaid for the individual American. And Section 2105A of the big beautiful bill further expands on those individuals who do not fall in this criteria, meaning individuals with disabilities, senior citizens, adults who are able-bodied but have children under the age of 14 years of age, veterans, caregivers, and the list goes on. So no one is being kicked off of Medicaid. Let's be clear. So why are these blue states and these blue state politicians and legacy media claiming that states are losing Medicaid funding? Although that's a lie. It's because the big beautiful bill puts measures in place to hold those states accountable and to prevent them from committing fraud against the federal government, aka the American taxpayer, as they've been allowed to do for decades. You see, these states have been able to do something called the provider tax scam. I'll break it down for you. It's very simple, but it costs the American taxpayers billions of dollars. And that is how you, as an American living outside of California, have contributed to up to 30% of California's state budget. So how this happens is a state like California will tax the hospitals and the nursing homes what is called essentially a Medicaid tax or a provider tax. The state then flips that $10,000 and they use that as revenue to go to the federal government saying that they have contributed their fair share to the Medicaid programs in that state. Based upon how the system is set up, the federal government will then match that same $10,000. In most cases, it's a 2-to-1 match. $10,000 becomes $20,000 going from the federal government to the state. The state then quietly reimburses the hospital or provider that they charge that initial $10,000 tax on through backdoor agreements and overinflated Medicaid reimbursement fees. So you have the hospital now that has that same $10,000 back that they gave the state, and you have the state now with an extra $10,000 from the federal government, aka you, the taxpayer, that they can use to fund their state budgets. It happens everywhere. It is called a shell game. The states benefit, the hospitals benefit, the American people lose. Now, I use California as an example because based on the California State Legislative Analyst Office, up to 30% of California's state budget was funded using this method right here. A federal audit showed that the state of New York had $1.5 billion per year of taxpayer money that was wasted on fraudulent billing, as well as fraudulent reimbursements to providers and long-term care facilities. In the state of Illinois, the Government Accountability Office found that Illinois, using this method, swindled over $4 billion from the federal government by overinflating Medicaid payments back to the providers. Now, do you see why the Democrats are crying? Do you see why these states are panicking? So the big beautiful bill puts a halt to this. It absolutely bans provider taxes from being recycled. It requires real dollar state contributions that will be audited by the federal government to make sure that they are not committing this type of fraud in the system. The Medicaid Integrity Office, or the MIO, that is being established under the Big Beautiful Bill will monitor and audit every single state to ensure they are no longer swindling the federal government out of these funds. In Section 2125 of the Big Beautiful Bill, it caps the amount of dollars the federal government will match the state's contributions based on actual spending, not on some type of phony accounting tricks. If your state is telling you that they're losing Medicaid funding, ask them, why were you committing fraud against the system? Because that is the only way states are going to lose funding, is if they were committing fraud. Let's recap. No American is losing Medicaid. No states are losing Medicaid funding unless they were committing fraud, at which point they must stop committing said fraud in order to continue to receive those federal dollars matched. What is going away is fraudulent enrollment numbers, phony state budgets, and wasted taxpayer dollars on states' overinflated budgets just so they can go live lavish lifestyles while the rest of us continue to struggle to put food on the table. The Big Beautiful Bill absolutely in no way defunds Medicaid. It cleans it up. It certainly doesn't hurt the poor. It protects those who truly need Medicaid services. And it doesn't punish any American. It punishes fraud. Again, if you want every section that I just mentioned, if you want the receipts, if you want the proof, over to my Substack. Much love. God bless. Part 4 coming up, where we'll talk about Social Security, SNAP benefits, and the lies that the Democrats are spreading to the American people to create fear. But until then, enjoy your Sunday night.